Hey, today we are doing part 3 of the Proverbs 31 woman, and the verses are 19 through 27. Before we get started, 19 and verse 24 will not be included in this lesson. They actually should have been part of last week's lesson, part 2. They just talk about her work ethic, and I'll just read those out first, and then we'll move on. Verse 19, she stretches out her hand to the distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. That's just like a little sewing machine of back in those times, that she could make garments and clothing and sashes, whatever she wanted to make with them. Verse 24, she makes linen garments and sells them and supplies sashes for the merchants. These two verses were just seeing her working in and out of the home to help her husband, to help provide for the family. And now on to the lesson. We will do verse by verse again. Verse 20 through 27 read, she extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hand to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. She makes tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. Strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. She watches over the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Verse 20. She extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hand to the needy. It's important to see that she is not selfish. She is sharing with the less fortunate. She is not too busy with hair appointments and nail salons and helping the kids with their homework and cooking. She's not too busy with her life that she doesn't notice others when they're in need. She's generous and she has a giving heart. We also need to look at the importance of this verse because it repeats itself. It's one verse, verse 20. She extends her hand to the poor. Yes, re-exclaiming. She reaches out her hand to the needy. Twice. Obviously, to me, when a verse tells us the same thing twice, over and over, it means that it is very important. It is very, very important for us to see that the needy and the poor and the less fortunate are our responsibility. They're our responsibility. They need to be they need to be on our priority list. They're not just an extra thing. Oh, I helped. I donated clothes to this charity. Pat on the back. That's not it. It needs to be. We need to see it as a responsibility. We need to see it as, okay, we're God, husband, family, the needy. Number 21. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. When I was looking through and researching for this lesson today, I came across two prominent meanings for this verse. And one is a more physical, literal translation of snow is coming, let's get clothes ready. And then one was more of a spiritual, read between the lines type of meaning, and I will give you both of them. Literally, physically, she is not afraid of snow for her household. She's not afraid of this cold season coming in because she anticipates the needs of her family during this cold season. She anticipates, okay, well, we're going to need jackets, we're going to need mittens and this and that and the other, and I'm going to have those prepared, and I'm not going to be afraid when it comes because they'll be ready. I'll have them made, ready to go. She's thinking ahead, and we can do that with any situation, not just winter's coming, let's get coats. We need to be women that think ahead for all occasions. But when we look at this in more of a spiritual sense, clothed with scarlet is said a lot of times in relation to covered by the blood of Jesus. And looking at this verse, She is not afraid of snow for her household. Snow in this is hardships, hard times, bad circumstances, difficult situations. She's not afraid of that because her household is clothed with scarlet, is covered by the blood of Jesus. And how does this come about? How is her family covered by the blood of Jesus? She does this through her faith and her constant prayer. She prays protection over her household, her family, her children. She prays favor, and she just wraps them up in prayer. So she's not afraid of anything that comes their way because she knows they're guarded. They're guarded by the Most High God. Verse 22, she makes tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Now we're seeing that kind of a little order here. She extends her hand to the poor, number one. She takes care of her family's needs by thinking ahead and praying. And now, number three, now she's thinking of herself. She's not forgetting that she's got needs as well, but she is putting herself last. She's putting herself last at the very end of her list. And back in those days, the clothing that you wore, the colors that you wore, the material that you wore resembled or was supposed to be a reflection of your inner beauty, and then you brought it to the exterior with the clothing and the colors and all that. And a way that she is honoring God and her husband is by taking care of herself in all aspects and dressing according to honor God. She's hardworking. She's always taking care of her husband, her family. She takes time to take care of the needy, but she does not lose herself. We need to keep in mind that it's important. Not exterior beauty, but to take care of ourselves inner and outwardly is important. Okay. Number 23. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. And this verse is telling us that her husband has the respect of others. He's a man of influence. And the way that this verse points back to her is that she made a significant contribution to her husband's position in the community and how he's viewed through her actions in and out of the home, through her attitude in and out of the home, through her demeanor, the way she carries herself in and out of the home. It points back to her husband and brings him honor and respect and all of these things from the community. Just her constant hard work in and out of the home, her generous heart in and out of the home, and the fact that she's such a godly woman in and out of the home, that she doesn't do things to bring shame to him. Like I said earlier, she brings him honor through everything. Verse 25, strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. She is clothed, wrapped with strength and honor. And I will tell you how, with two verses. This first verse gives her strength. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The second verse brings her honor. Proverbs 21:21. He who follows righteousness and mercy being Christ, finds life and honor. Point is that the center of her life, the focus of her eyes is Jesus. Jesus Christ is the center of her life, and that is how she is clothed with strength and honor, because she puts him first. He's in the center. Her eyes are fixed on him. And because of this, she shall rejoice in the time to come, which is the future. She has no fear of the future. She doesn't worry about the future because she rests on the promises of God. She knows that she will triumph over everything through Christ, who strengthens her and gives her honor. Verse 26. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. This one is simple, but sometimes I think it can be the hardest for women. Women are known for gossiping and, talking this and saying that. But it's important to see that this Proverbs 31 woman the woman that God has laid out in the Bible for us to be. Her mouth opens with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. Her words build up. They do not tear down. She's not a gossiper. She's not a slanderer. And when she speaks, it is to help. So we need to keep this one in mind big time. Verse 27. She watches over the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. It's her responsibility to keep the house and the children in order. The house neat, organized, the children organized in the sense of, if they've got chores, if they've got homework, if they anything that they need to get done for the day, even simple things like praying with the children, just keeping everything correct and in order. And she does all of this and does not eat the bread of idleness, which means she does not let herself get lazy. She doesn't sit on the couch and let the dishes pile up. She doesn't sit on the couch and let 10 o'clock roll around, the kids aren't in bed, or, it's dinner time, nothing's prepared. She doesn't let herself get lazy. She's on point. When she sees something that needs to be done, she gets it done. And that concludes today's lesson. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully you will join us for part 4 coming up next week, October 29th. Probably the video won't be up till the 30th. And until then, love God always.